There are three things you're doing, and that's it. Three things. You're protecting that customer's brand, people, and profits. That's it. You're not increasing their security on their email. You're not making things faster. You're not patching their systems. Those are things they don't understand and they don't care about. Your job is to protect their brand, people, and profits.
SMBs spending on cybersecurity will increase to over $100 billion worldwide in 2026, with spending in the US estimated to be about $50 billion. There are 50,000 MSPs in this country, so even if every MSP got its fair share of the cyber pie, that works out to $1 million in annual revenue per MSP. And here's what's truly interesting. Only about 50% of MSPs are even speaking with their clients about cybersecurity. So the real opportunity for you if you get involved is probably double. To talk about how to sell cyber to an SMB, I am excited to have someone on the show who knows all about that. Matt Koenig is VP of Channel at Nodeware and has been a force in the channel for over 20 years. He has been deeply involved in helping MSPs with developing client relationships and sales. If you don't know him already, you really should. Reach out to him at Matthew Koenig at whitetigerchannelconsulting.com. Let's get started. But first, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. My name is Madhur Dugar. I am a senior M&A advisor at Actionable Advisors, focused around MSPs and IT services. And this is my podcast series, M&A Insights. If you are interested in finding out more about how we are helping MSPs exit or grow inorganically, write to me at madhur@excendio.com, connect with me over LinkedIn, or visit our website, www.excendio.com. Let's get started. Matt, when you meet a client for the first time to determine whether this client is a good fit for you, what are some of the key questions you ask in that discovery call?
So one of the questions you'd ask is, tell me why your business is unique. Now, people always ask, what does that have to do with cybersecurity? It doesn't. Not a darn thing, you're right. But you know what it does? If I ask you that question, how much do you want to talk about your business? How much do you want to talk about the things you've done, where you're headed, the new things that you're trying to accomplish? Business owners love that. And what it does is it takes them from the crossed arms and crossed legs scenario to opening up, leaning forward, and wanting to talk to you. So what you've just done is you've just opened the door for the rest of the conversation. If you could change anything about your IT organization, what would that be? You want this information. They're the decision maker. What don't they like? What's the most important thing an IT service provider can do for you? What are the things that meet their expectations? Even if they're not realistic, you still want to understand their thought process. Because again, you're trying to decide if this is a customer you want. What are you doing to proactively protect your organization from a breach? If they look at you like Scooby-Doo used to look and go, Scooby-Doo, well, you know what you're dealing with there. They're not doing anything around cybersecurity. They're not doing anything proactive. But that gives you just a ton of information. What are the top three things you took away from your last QBR with your current provider? Now, I get pushed back on this one all the time. Why do I care about that? Well, again, psychology 101. First of all, do they attend their QBRs? Or should I say, first of all, is the provider having QBRs?
Yes.
Second of all, do they actually show up to them? Third of all, do they pay attention? Because if they can tell you three things they got out of their last QBR, you know they attend, they're having them and expect them, and they're paying attention. Or they're not having them, or they're having them, they don't show up, or they're having them, they show up and they're not paying attention. But this is important information to have. And you're asking these questions because although it's not closing the sale, It's helping you understand the environment and what the culture is like and who the decision maker is and how they think. So you can decide if this is something you want to jump into. And if you do, you understand the things you're jumping into. When you sit down with a customer, whether you called them or they called you always want to ask, why us? Why now? What made you call? Even if you called them, there's a reason why they accepted the appointment. I don't know about you, but I want to know why. Doesn't that give you a lot of information as to why they were willing to talk to you? What prompted this? What happened? And if they called you especially, why? And some people go, again, I don't care. I'm here. No, you should care because there's a reason, which is something you need to talk about and show that you can help them overcome whatever that problem is. The reality is too many people don't ask why. Mm-hmm. And when you were a 5-year-old, all you did was ask why. And the reason why is because you were curious. You wanted to understand. Let that inner 5-year-old out and ask questions. Ask questions to understand what's going on.
So you've had your first meeting with a client, you've done your discovery, you have a sense now for where this client is in terms of its cybersecurity needs. What next?
So you've had your first meeting and you've decided this is someone you may want to work with. Well, they don't know what's going on in their environment. They have no idea. Both technically, personally, they have no idea. So you want to show them what's going on, not just tell them. So you're going to use an assessment to show the specific issues going on in their business, but you're not going to present the results. You're going to educate the client. You're going to talk in business terms, right? Based on the things you find, what is the effect, the net effect it could have on them and their business? You can use it to create urgency. Call them up and say, hey, by the way, I got the results back of your assessment. There's some things here that actually concern me. I'd love to at least go through those with you. Could you give me a call back? You know what? 50% of the time, they're going to call you back because you just used a word that causes action. I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. Very carefully, that word was chosen. I'm concerned.
Do you feel that businesses push back on an MSP when they even try to do an assessment of the business?
Sometimes it depends on how they're doing the assessment, what they say they're doing it for, if they're charging or not charging. And the charging or not charging thing, I think, is really up to the MSP and how they feel, about the customer and what their normal process is. I've seen MSPs successfully sell it. I've seen MSPs that did it at no charge because it's part of the process as to whether they even want them as a customer.
Got it.
But if you've got a customer that pushes back on you personally not taking their word for stuff or their current MSP's word for stuff as to what's going on, that's a signal you should run. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is, why do they care? Why do they care if you want to dig in and find out what's going on so you can better understand and provide them better services, or at least a better conversation as to what you found? The only thing I can think of is they're scared you're going to sell them on something.
Right.
Well, guess what? One, you're not there to sell them on anything. That's why you show them and you don't tell them, right? You're going to discuss what you found. You're going to discuss the business impact of what you found. Okay? Ever give them the assessment? You do not send this via email. Okay? This is a one-on-one meeting with the decision maker. If they won't let you present it in person, they get nothing. Right? This is for your advantage and partly theirs, but this is for your advantage. Don't do work and then just give it up and hope they're going to call you back. Because you know what? If you do that, 75-80% of the time, they're not going to. They're going to take your assessment. They're going to go to their current MSP or someone else and go, thank you very much.
Yep.
I mean, remember, even if you do it at no charge, free is never free. There's always an opportunity cost. Okay? You took up time, effort, and energy to do this. There's a cost associated with that. Don't be willing to give it up if you don't get anything in return. You talk to them at their level. Don't use technical terms. Don't talk about technology features. Talk in plain English and talk about things from a business perspective. They care about business. They don't care about technology. They just want the technology to work. Remember something. When you're selling cybersecurity services, and I'm going to patent this because everybody seems to love this, there are 3 things you're doing, and that's it. 3 things. You're protecting that customer's brand, people, and profits. That's it. You're not increasing their security on their email. You're not making things faster. You're not patching their systems. Those are things they don't understand and they don't care about. I'm not saying they shouldn't be done, and I'm not saying that's not your job. I'm saying in your conversation with the decision maker, especially the CEO of an SMB, your job is to protect their brand, people, and profits. Every time if you have a conversation with them, those are the things that you're talking about, how you're doing that, you're going to win 90% of the time.
Okay.
Don't assume. You know, FUD is the worst thing you can sell on. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. People heard from years, use FUD, scare them. Well, I study a lot of psychology because, well, that's my job. Welcome to Sales 101. And here's what I'll tell you. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt does exactly 2 things and 2 things only. 1, you've pissed me off because I know you're trying to scare me. And you've pissed me off to the point where I don't want to talk to you anymore. Well, that's not advantageous, and that's not that's not what I'm after. Number 2, if you truly scare someone, I mean scare, you've just feared them right into inaction. Because now I'm scared to death to make the wrong decision. And once I've thought about it and I am ready to make a decision, guess where I'm going? I'm going to someone I trust. And guess what? I don't trust you. So therefore, you've now used fear, uncertainty, and doubt to walk your way right out of any sale that you possibly could have had and out of any relationship with them. Another thing to do, fill the gap. This is emotional. Talking to them about Home Depot or Target being breached or anything like that doesn't mean a darn thing to them. They don't care. They don't believe it's going to happen to them. And I'm going to discuss how to deal with that later on in the presentation. But when you're talking, if I make you emotional about something, if I get you inside of your head about something, you can't stop thinking about it. So how would it feel if you had to lay off half your staff because of a breach? What would it look like if your business had to be down for 30 days while you recovered from a breach? You're not asking them yes or no questions. You're not asking them about, oh my God, you're going to get breached. You're asking them, how would it feel? What would it look like? You're putting them inside their own head, thinking about their own organization and the things that could happen. This is going to have a much greater impact than if you talk about all these other breaches going on in the world. Or you just keep telling them, you could be breached, you could be breached. You have to believe in yourself. Don't act like selling and working with a client is a chore. Don't be down. Don't show dread. Clients pick up on these things. Look, I'm talking to you right now about what I believe will help you sell more cybersecurity services, a crash course in 30 minutes. I could be completely full of crap. None of this could work. But guess what? I'm on a reputable podcast. I've got a presentation. I'm saying it with authority. I'm giving you examples. As far as you're concerned, he might have a clue. He might know what he's talking about. Well, guess what? That is 50%, if not 75% of sales. If you walk in there scared to talk to your client, scared to have a business conversation, upset, annoyed, guess what? You lose. Period. End of story. Tell a story. People love stories. And Think about it. Everybody's got a favorite movie, a favorite TV show, a favorite author, favorite cartoon character, whatever. And I'm sure there are TV shows and movies and everything you can recite lines from. Why is that? That's not real life, right? All that's fiction. So why is that? Because they're stories. And we are equipped mentally, psychologically, and every other way. When someone tells us a beginning, middle, and end to something, to clue into that. Right back to the cavemen days when they drew stories on the cave walls. So if you tell a story either about how you're going to take care of them, or the result, or even a story about something that happened at one of your other customers when you're giving them the results of an assessment, guess what? They're going to listen.
What are some simple things that people should do to help build trust with their client?
Well, a couple things. First of all, talk to them. I know that seems silly.
Yeah.
Talk to them. Talk to them regularly. Check in on them. Make sure they're doing okay. Go take them to lunch every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do something at no charge if it's a good customer. If you're not having QBRs, do your darn QBR. If you can't get the decision maker you originally talked to into a QBR, great, take them to lunch.
Yeah.
Most people won't turn down lunch. Do it over lunch. What kind of thought leadership do you provide? Do you find articles that are relevant to their industry? Hey, Bob, you know what? I was reading this today in Forbes, and I knew it related to stuff you're doing. I just wanted to forward it to you.
Mm-hmm.
How much value do you think that brings in building a relationship? You're doing a project for them, and you've gone to the customer and said, will you sign off here? Here's how I fixed it. Again, not technical, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I found was your email server was too full, and by cleaning it up and adding some more speed to it, that should eliminate the problem. Have you seen the difference? Yes, I have. Great. Will you just sign off here saying that we completed that project so we both have a record of that? Isn't that interesting? Every time you do something like that for them, kind of like a QBR, you sit down with them. Now, what does that do in the first 3 months, let's call it? You're getting a chance to meet with the decision maker constantly over the first 3 months. I don't know about you, but that's kind of a habit. First of all, you're gaining trust. Second of all, you're showing them you're doing what you say, when you say, and how you say it. Third of all, that decision maker is taking your call because they're now expecting it. So what do you think is going to happen when you want to have your first QBR? They're most likely going to be there.
Matt, we talked about doing a discovery, about doing assessments, about the importance of building trust with your clients, about making it personal, being confident, using stories to get the point across. These are all things that I would think you would do in any sales process. What are some things specifically around cybersecurity that you would recommend MSPs to do with their clients?
Be involved in your client's business. Understand any compliance frameworks they must meet. Understand their cyber liability insurance policy. If you don't do this, someone else will. And that's not fun. That's fact. Okay. And I hear a lot, well, they don't care about their compliance frameworks. If you've got a medical practice and they refuse to be HIPAA compliant, you have two choices. Okay. First is to behind their back, make them HIPAA compliant to the best of your ability, technologically, right? You're not responsible for the physical and administrative, but you are responsible for the technology. So the security stack you put in place, right, needs to make them HIPAA compliant, whether they like it or not. Don't talk to them about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
If we're their MSP and they're relying, just do it. Second thing, they won't let you do it. Then you run. Guess what happens if your customer gets audited? Their accounting, their law firm, and their IT firm get audited. All three of those will get audited. Cyber liability insurance is one of those things that you must have, but customers all the time, meaning not the MSP, customers, sign things and attest to things, and they have no idea what they just attested to. They have no idea. They don't know what they signed. And there are 10, 12, 15 security controls that they have to have in place. Now, this presents a problem because if they ever get audited, if they ever get breached, the insurance company is in their right to not pay out, not a cent. You as their MSP come in, look at their policy, understand the things they're not meeting. Now you can have a business meeting. You can talk to them about, hey, by the way, there are 12 controls in here. And if we don't get these in place quickly, your policy will never pay out. Insurance companies are partnering with MSPs now, where if a customer says, I'm not sure or I don't know, they're sending their own MSPs in to verify those controls and make sure they're in place.
This is interesting, right? Because I think what you're saying is it's almost not optional for an MSP to sit back and not have this conversation. If they don't have it with their client today, chances are their insurance company is sending an MSP across. And the next thing you know, that MSP is in there competing for your business with that client.
Security plan. Look, this is not popular. I know it's not, but I'm telling you it works. Here's why. Do you think your customer's ever going to get breached? I don't know about you, but I know they are. Here's what you do. You don't have the money or the time to keep up with all the bad guys. So whether it's minor, major, whatever, no matter what you do, at some point, your customer is going to suffer somewhat of a breach. They know that also. I don't care what they say. So here's my question. What if you told them, by the way, one of the things that separates us from our competition is we have a security plan, because the reality is it's not if, but when you're going to get breached. It could be very minor because I'm doing my best to protect you. Or, no matter what I do, people find ways. But here's the cool part. I have, and I'm just picking this part out, a 5-step process, a 6-step. I've done this before. I have a process that I've developed to be able to attack this and get you back up and running quickly. If I can't do it, I have the resources to call immediately. I am set up where if there's ever a problem, I know exactly what to do, who to go to, how to do it, and make sure you're back up and running as quickly as possible. Now, that doesn't seem like a positive conversation, but you know what? It's reality. And how many MSPs do you think are having that conversation? No. So we talked about review their cyber insurance policy. The next thing, please do not break out your pricing of tools. Nobody cares. And all you're going to do is let them pick and choose what they want. Okay? They're going to go, what's this? Because that's the most expensive item on the list. And you're going to go, vulnerability scanning. And they're going to go, well, I don't really need that then. And there are a couple reasons. First of all, when you look at that, if you're bundling out stuff, if you're showing the price of each thing, well, then you're giving them a menu. And you say, well, no, I'm not. Well, no, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them a menu to pick from, whether you like it or not. And they're going to get rid of the most expensive thing. Okay. The reality is, take your regular bundle, your what I'll call basic MSP day-to-day bundle, and create a security stack. Okay. Your security stack has your stuff in it. Period. End of story. It's got what you think should be in there. Your proactive, your testing, and your reactive stuff in there. It's not they get a choice. You're breaking it out in these two different pieces so they can see, here's what, if an MSP came in and said they were competing with me, here's my price. Here's, however, the price of the security that I'm putting on you. And I have the right to increase this price by X%, whatever you think, Mr. MSP, 10%, 5%, 3%, I don't care, every 6 months. And the reason I have the right to do this, even if I sign a 3-year contract with you, is because this is such a fluid thing, cybersecurity. I may need to get new tools, add tools, take away tools, change things. If I don't, I'm not going to increase your price. But if I do, I want to be upfront with you and tell you it might happen. I'll let you know if it happens, but this is the way it's going to be for me to be able to protect you. You're being upfront with them, right? And they're also not looking at your price and going, it's $250 a month. And this MSP came in for $125 a seat or person, or however you want to look at it, however you price it. Why are you so much more expensive? Now you have to sell your way out of it. Versus you saying, look, what they're doing, right? You've already broken it out, is this piece, $115 per seat. I'm now adding a cybersecurity stack. Ask them to break out their cybersecurity stack, not the pieces and parts, the stack. Most SMB owners wouldn't know technical stuff if you put it in front of their face with a definition and anything else. They'd have no idea what you're talking about. Just like if you talk to them in a foreign language, they didn't understand it. So what you're doing then is you're allowing them to say, this is an add-on, and I don't need any add-ons because it's more money.
Matt, thanks so much. I'm sorry I kept you long, but the content was really great, and I wanted to make sure we got through all those things. So really appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate it. It was great being here, and I look forward to the next one.
Yep, same here.